All right, and today's review will be on the PCE Pure Cambridge edition, owned by many. I'm not like big time on the. Some people are just like, I only use PCE. I know it is probably the clearest representation of the King James text, but like in a wide margin, or any Bible really, if there is a typo, I just correct it in the margin with a well, actually it depends. I use Micron, but most of the time I use Prismacolor, which I'll be doing a video on those. I believe they do a lot better than Microns in the sense of pretty much they work on any paper and won't bleed through, whereas Microns will bleed through on certain Bible paper. But this is the Schuyler Bibles. You can get them at evangelicalbible.com. This is the wide margin Canterbury KJV Slate Goatskin. But this is a Pure Cambridge edition. I went through the whole list. I couldn't find anything that wasn't correct according to the list that the Pure Cambridge edition gives. And if you know of one, let me know, but I couldn't find anything wrong. It says or Sheba. It has lowercase s in 1 John 5:8, which that's debatable. I know Gail Ripplinger, which I'm not a big fan of, but she says she just has some good things to say, but some of the stuff is just maybe she's improved. I don't know. But she would say it should be capital S. I kind of agree with that when I look at the context, but people consider the PCE or the Pure Cambridge edition, it's supposed to be a lower capital S. But all the capitals and all the wording is the PCE. This is definitely a Pure Cambridge edition. So you're going to have, this is slate gray. This has silver gilding on the spine and on the pages. And you have your raised hubs. And then it's going to have a beautiful silver gilding done real well. They're right there with Church Bible Publishers. I think Church Bible Publishers puts a little bit thicker of a foil on, though. Church Bible Publishers is just amazing when it comes to their gold foil. But this is put on just as good. You do have about an inch or a little bit more, depending on where you're at. The Psalms is still verse by verse, but it's laid out in a poetic setting. This is a red letter text. I kind of have to do my reviews a little bit faster, guys. Sorry about the wire. I'm wearing a lapel mic, and I still haven't had everything set up like I like. But let me zoom. Oh, well, let me zoom in. Let me see if I do this. There we go. Look how nice. This is probably the best red letter I've seen in any Bible. And if your eyes hurt or you have problems reading red letter, I don't think you'd have a problem with this one. I have an old Canterbury, an old red one I still have. They've improved the red letter. This is really dark, and I can see some people in certain areas of this Bible where you realize you're jumping from black to red. It has that good of a transition with the color. Like if I go over the page, you really can't tell. I'm hoping that's doing justice on the camera. It's probably 30 frames per second. If I did it at 60, it'd probably do better. But when I'm scanning the page back and forth like that, it's so dark you almost can't tell it's red letter. But it's a very nice dark red letter. From what I've seen all through here, it's very consistent. It might lighten up in some areas, but it's not too bad. The only thing I don't like about this Bible, let me come back up. The only thing I don't like about this Bible is I wish that Schuyler would do this bolder, the typeface. It has more. It's pretty dark, don't get me wrong, it's black. It's not gray like I have a ESV Quintel calfskin that has some problems. And it has like real pages that almost seem like they're gray letters. This is black, but I think what they should do is do a bolder of a text. Just the same text font, but just a little bit bolder, just a tad bit. Kind of get some of that old school effect. Like Allen does that on their what's that called? The Allen Long Primer Sovereign. They use a bolder typeface, just a little bit bolder, and it makes it really nice. I think that would be a really nice improvement. But you do have the red letter. You have your cross references at the bottom, your drop caps. But the main reason I'm doing this video is just showing you what you're going to get if you're looking for a PCE. It does have the Schuyler Bible's guarantee and what they're about. Then you do have on the inside, you do have, I believe it's a calf split or a cowhide. I think it's a calf split liner. Very flexible, but it's a genuine leather. Goatskin leather cover. You do have the silver gilt line edges. They are cut and then folded. They're not pleated, but they look very nice. In fact, I've seen some Bibles where they are pleated and they'll come up and it just looks uneven. I kind of like that they cut them. It'd be nice if when you did pleats, it was perfect every time, but that doesn't always happen. So I kind of rather them do this, since they do it. They make more Bibles than like say a rebinder or somebody else. It will lay flat in Genesis, but rebinders usually do a really good job. I won't be getting back into that for a while. I still have a lot to deal with, but let's see here. So it does lay flat. Oh yeah, I forgot. They have some new presentation pages. This Bible was presented to me. And let's see here. I think see them my. Okay, so you do have births, deaths. What was the other one? And marriages. So it's pretty plain. It's not like the old school ones where you have like 15 pages in the middle or whatever, which is, I think that's kind of cool. But for a Bible like this, this is something, well, it would be a good family Bible if the text was larger. That'd be a big Bible if they made a family Bible with wide margins, which I think is a good idea, but I don't know how many people would actually buy it. That way your family can kind of put family notes in there and stuff. Anyways, guys, so let's get to the back. I got my grandson out there making noise if you hear any noises in the background. So, that's right, I'm a grandpa. You guys probably didn't know that, did you? All right, let's go back. Okay, so you do have something, before I get to that, which I like, I was about to just go ahead and get there. You do have a concordance, and it is very small. This is smaller than the open Bible review I did the other day. Do I have that quarter still in my pocket? I think I do. So let me put a quarter down. Look how small that is. That is just insane. Let's go 2 times in. There we go. Look how small that is. Yeah, it is deceitful text, isn't it? Look how deceitfully small that is. Now, they really need to do something with that, but for me, it's no problem myself, because I have good eyesight, Lord willing. I'll stay that way for long enough. Someday I might have to use a magnifying glass, but I like having a margin around the concordance, because that way I can define words if I needed to. After your concordance, you do have quite a bit of blank pages. Now, the King James version of this, because I know they have an NASB version. I'm back to the King James, but if you do get the NASB version, it's like 40 GSM, whereas this is 38 GSM, which is what they use like on the Concord and stuff like that. Really good paper. Not as thick as I would like it, but it'll definitely do the job. I'll be doing a complete review. Well, I've kind of reviewed it already. I might mention it or do a comparison on some wide margins later on. And I'll bring out the Allen 5WM. I absolutely love the paper on the 5WM, especially that silver line. 45 GSM. I think that's a sweet spot for wide margins, because it's just a real nice thick paper. And this is nice too, don't get me wrong. And let me see, I think this paper, yes, okay, this is going to be more like a 60 GSM paper in the back where the lines are at. I like this. I love the double column. Now, some people either like it spaced wider like this. I like real small. I like where it's tight. But this is good enough. This kind of like meets everybody in the middle, I think. I like more lines per page, but that's because I write real small if I need to, and I like to do that to get plenty of notes. But I think you have 36 pages of note paper plus those blank pages. The Allen, I believe, has more blank pages but less lined paper, if I remember right. But you get like 30 or 36 or 40. You'll have to check that out. I did not count. Well, I did when I first got it, but I think it was 36 or 40. Then you have your maps. The maps, they do the best maps, I think. Some of the best maps. They're in the top, I say top 3. For me personally, they're my favorite maps. The only thing is, I don't think they have, no, they don't have anybody going through water in the Exodus, do they? Wait a minute. Yes, I don't know. They kind of clutter it right there. Let me see if I can zoom that in. Let's see. Does that have, they're just like, they're dipping. I guess they're just trying to get their feet a little wet. No, but that's wouldn't be the right spot anyway. So yeah, they do anything to keep them out of the water. Kind of crazy. Oh, you do have this interesting. Israel's united and divided kingdoms. A little chart there with their maps. And if you buy now, I'll give you my grandson free. I'm joking. I'm joking. Teasing. They do split the maps up. Did they do that with the one that was always stuck together before? It looks like they did. Because they used to, I think it was, wasn't it Schuyler that used to have their maps where they were like together and you couldn't see it because it was all in the gutter? And they fixed that. It looks like they fixed that. Let me make sure before I speak too fast. I did not even realize that. Like I said, I've had this for a while and I never really looked at it too much. Because I've been trying to stick to that CBP wide margin. I really like it. And okay, so you do have the index to the maps after the maps in a couple. So yeah, they separated the maps. I think it was Schuyler that used to put them together. And then you got some blank pages back here and some cardstock pages. Smythe Sloan, of course, just done very, very well. So if you're looking for a pure Cambridge edition wide margin, be prepared to spend money, but you are getting this thing. When I pick this up and then I pick up the Allen 5W, even though I like the Allen 5W very, very much, it's probably my favorite all-time wide margin, this one feels like it's just built better. I think it's probably because there's an Oxford hollow, and I don't see why they wouldn't do that with the Allen. But I think both of them have an Oxford hollow. This just seems like it has a reinforced spine, and it has a thicker liner. It's still very supple, but it's a thicker liner. They didn't use the Mariva calfskin as the liner. And I've noticed with the new Allen, with the Mariva calfskin liner, it just feels a little bit more floppy. It's too floppy for a big Bible like that. But I mean, I usually keep my Bibles in wide margins, at least the bigger ones, on my table, so it's not a problem. But I think Schuyler, if anybody from Schuyler sees this, stick with this liner. I wouldn't go with the Mariva. The Mariva is a little bit too soft, and it'd make this Bible just not as stable. But yeah, this is a great Bible. It is worth the money you'll pay for it, I can tell you that much. So you might have to save up some money and get money in your piggy bank and just keep it there for a while. But once you get this thing could last you a lifetime. Take care of it. Treat it well, and it will treat you well, and you could pass this down definitely to your grandchildren or your children, and they could probably pass it down to their grandchildren. I don't see why it wouldn't last that long. So, until next time, guys. Good day. God bless.